Hi, baby.
Hello.
Is this your first day?
Yep, day one of designing, and basically today I started working on kind of just rough ideas of what I'm gonna do for the game, the theme, and just brainstorming some ideas, looking at some talks to get some advice, and especially get from these books down here, 2 books, game design books, and design. Yeah, day one.
Day one done.
What's up, guys? So today is day 2 of the design phase, and basically what I worked on is more to do with the themes. So I'm starting to gather the ideas that I have and slowly coming up with a theme, and then from there I've started to piece together exactly what I'm going to do for the game, whether story-wise, and yeah, that's day 2.
Baby.
Hello.
It's day 3.
It is indeed. So, what I do today? So moving on from themes, basically I got the theme that I wanted to do, and it's just a matter of building on the ideas that I had that fit the theme, and after spending, quite a few hours on that, I come to realize that what I've done is it's pretty big, and using the game design theory that I've learned about iterating ideas and doing a risk assessment, and basically I've decided to go back to my theme, and the theme is actually surviving through adaptation. So so then from there I created a new game, a new design idea, and just going through that too. And then I think I will move on to making a prototype real soon after I flesh out the details, because basically after creating this new game, I need to now actually make a story for it, get the mechanics down, think about the aesthetics, and then start building the game from there. So that's pretty much it. End of day 3, and see you guys next time. Today is the design day 4, and basically I expanded on what the player can play as in terms of what kind of characters. I did some further story building. I used Fullerton's formal elements to do a little checklist to see just to get the framework of my game and to know what bits I'm missing to build on that. I worked on some simple design concepts that I drew them out just to see, what it would look like in the game. Built the main character, so there's some more flavor, there's a story to it too. I'm not going to reveal the name yet because it's still early progress. Then I did prototyping for the tutorial storyline, and just to determine how the game would look, the series of events that occur, the storyline, and how to teach the players and how some mechanics would. Yeah, this is day 4. Design day 5, and what I did was I did some more studies with the game design theories. I did more research. I created a game design document for this, and basically what I did was I filled in a title page which consisted on the target audience, potential game names, short story summary. Then I wrote a game outline which goes further in detail on how the game is played, my multi-level survival mechanic, which is something that I've created, the different environments that this will be played in, and character development. So I have 3 characters that are actually currently playable right now, and I think those will probably be the only characters actually. And then some basic control design on how you actually physically play the game. Yeah, so gonna be working more on the game design document the next time I work. And so that's design day 5, guys.
Day 6.
So today I worked on the sequence of play. So that means from how the player will be playing from the main menu to the tutorial, how they will enter the game, when they will learn different parts of the mechanics and the controls, what the map of the level and the world would look like, and basically when they will be taught what they need to know. I also worked on the concept of how the player would sleep too. And So then that's pretty much what I've done today. And I'll be continuing again next time. Day 6. Today I continued working on the post-tutorial gameplay design. I also created something called a compactable player hut, which is going to be how the player is actually going to sleep. So more on that time, as always. I did a mechanic called an inspiration, which is going to be how the player kind of levels up, I guess. I also done work on the country and world map layout, so the sketches for that. So it's going to be part of a big world actually. And then I worked on introduction to level 2 of my multi-level survival design. So this would be the advanced level. Then I worked on my first village layout sketches. Then the rough layout design for the second environment, and then the day and night cycle effects on which kind of will affect the environment and the creatures that might spawn. Yeah, that's day 7.
Day 8.
Okay, so today I did further work on the locations of points of interest, so kind of where all the villages and all the towns and dungeons will be located on the entire map. So it's kind of give me a waypoint of a view of how all the the levels are aligned. I did work on the aesthetics, so I tried to unify them through the color scheme, level design, and the story development, all in one package. I designed how I can introduce the player to the dynamic environment. So basically the changes that's going to happen in that environment will be dynamic. And that's going to be through the third map, so the third level. And so with that, I also designed the third map. And it features a split down the middle. So it has lava on one side and snow on the other side. And then lastly, I started work on the environmental adaptive gear. So gear that's kind of adapted to the environment. And yeah, that's day 8.
Day 9.
Day 9. So today I continue working on the gameplay ideas that's leading towards the end of the game. So still carrying on from yesterday. I started implementing the use of verticality to help with story development and so kind of like with progression as well. Start looking into the possibility of introducing a cave as sort of a mini dungeon, as well as deciding what to include in my first town, which introduces new mechanics that I'm still exploring, such as monster invasions. Then I worked on the first dungeon, with figuring out what's the pluses of doing it and the cons, or rather what you would lose in the dungeon if things go bad, so kind of the risk and reward thing. I also considered possibly adding 2 tameable passive mounts that can actually climb mountains. But yeah, passive meaning that they're kind of scared of enemies, so that would be quite interesting actually. And thought about the theme for the second dungeon, as well as initial ideas for the final level, survival level. Yeah, so that's it pretty much.
Day 9. Day 11.
What's up guys? So today I worked on just filling in some details for the combat and the trap designs, basically how the system's going to work, and then also looked at how other games do it. But I didn't really do that much today because I'm not feeling well. But I managed to do a little bit, so that's pretty much it. And I'm going to continue again tomorrow. Yeah.
Day 13.
Alright, I'm officially a lot better now. I'm recovering, so I can get back to doing work. Basically, today I worked on the types of quests that are going to be implemented in the game. Also a monster invasion system, so how they're going to attack the town. Towns might get destroyed, which means you lose some NPCs. And also, what else did I do? Monster invasion, types of quests, and yeah, that's what I got at the top of my head at the moment. But so basically I'm a lot better now, so I can actually get back to more work, more design. But grind never ends, gotta keep going. Day 13.
Day 13.
Alright, I'm officially a lot better now. I'm recovering, so I can get back to doing work. Basically, today I worked on the types of quests that are going to be implemented in the game. Also a monster invasion system, so how they're going to attack the town. Towns might get destroyed, which means you lose some NPCs. And also, what else did I do? Monster invasion, types of quests, and yeah, that's what I got at the top of my head at the moment. But yeah, so basically I'm a lot better now, so I can actually get back to more work, more design. But grind never ends, gotta keep going. Day 13.
Day 14.
So today I worked on fame usage, so how fame would be used in my game. And it's actually a pretty big part of the game actually as well, but again, I'll reveal more when I actually start making stuff. I also worked on a bit of a war design, so basically how the war mechanic would work. And yeah, some more work on that. Then I spent the rest of the day kind of just doing more game design theories, because it's good to read up more and to be able to come up with new ideas. And then, yeah.
Day 15.
Day 15. Right, so today was originally meant to be designing characters and, well, the creatures and plants and monsters for my game. But I realized that actually there's still a lot more perspectives that I haven't seen in terms of like the other game design books. So like I was reading through one, Scott Rogers' Level Up Guide to Great Video Game Design. And there's also another one which is by Jesse Schell, The Art of Game Design, Book of Lenses. So basically, I decided that I want to spend more time reading and to just get more perspectives from different game designers and just to become a lot more open in game design before I actually focus down on the characters. And also what they've made really nice games. And so I want to learn from them too. So that's what I've been doing, and I think I'll be doing that for the next few days too. Alright, that's day 15.
Day 16.
Day 16. So yeah, I'm continuing reading the book, and it's just, like I said about perspective, like there's just so much information in this book. Like they talk about, basically Jesse covers, in the beginning chapters, more on the player's mind. So stuff like intrinsic and extrinsic motivations, players' needs, and what else? Like, yeah, so like how to balance the flow, which is basically the concept where you have to stay inside this flow channel so that you're not kind of borderline going to anxiety because the challenge is too hard, or going to boredom because the challenge is too easy, and to get that right balance. And it's just, there's just so much stuff. It's amazing how our mind thinks. Like we use our subconscious mind uses mental models to kind of understand reality in an easier way that we understand. Stuff like we don't think about us breathing or us how we actually drive a car. Driving a car involves actually using the steering wheel and to measure like the rotation. How do you actually work that out without thinking so much about it, and just kind of like, oh, we know roughly by eye where to drive. So it's crazy. There's so much stuff going on. We're gonna keep going. Day 16.
Day 17.
Day 17. So today was again further reading. So I just read up on basically the elements that are actually game mechanics in the game from Jesse Schell's perspective. So 7 of them: space, rules, chance, time, and a whole bunch which I can't remember right now. But yeah, then I read up about probability as well. So within chance, there's a whole section of probability. There's a little interesting bit about where it came from as well, and how it's important to balance the expected value, expected probability, and the actual probability. So expected probability meaning what we as designers would calculate in terms of, like, say, the wind spell, which has 100% damage, compared to which deals 6 damage, and compared to like a firebolt, which is like 80%, and how that kind of all that calculations add up to the expected value, and of course how the player perceives those values too. It's quite confusing, but you should definitely read up on that. And also, I started reading into the chapter for balancing, so the crucial aspects of balancing, which kind of links into the probability chapter 2. So just again, further reading, and yeah, day 17.
Day 18.
Day 18. So again, further reading. This time it's following on the chapter for balancing. How we have to balance different mechanics in the game, such as reward, punishment, complexity, simplicity, meaningful choices. What else? Oh, there's an interesting thing about triangularity, which I learned, which Shell calls it triangularity, which basically means kind of the player having to choose between a low risk, low reward, and a high risk and high reward. So I've been looking through a lot of that, and obviously there's a lot more than what I'm saying. Then I also looked into chapter 14, which is about puzzles. I mean, puzzles in the conventional sense, as well as how we've kind of, throughout the ages, especially more modern games, we kind of implemented puzzles into our games without people kind of acknowledging it's a puzzle. For example, conventional puzzle would be like Rubik's Cube, or like try and get this lock out of this intricate system, right? And then whereas nowadays, for us in games, the way we can do puzzles, like, you know, the Legend of Zelda Windrunner, where you have to kind of break pots and stuff to kind of change the flow of lava, or like switch and stuff. So yeah, that's day 18.
Day 19.
Alright, so day 19, it was, well, further reading again. I learned more about interfaces, you know, feedback loop to players, juiciness, what primality is, which is basically making a interactive system that's intuitive, that, you know, that comes from our primal instincts. For example, touch. How we show the information through different dimensions. You know, it's called the information channel. I also learned more about interest curves and how there are similar patterns in these curves in many well-known entertainment-based products. So kind of like in movies, like the good movies have a specific type of interest curve, which is very similar to games too, proper well-known games where they have highs and lows. And yeah, that's what I did on day 19.